Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rizka Ayu. I'm from Biology offering G, State University of Malang. Today I will talk about interaction of life with main topics is feeding relationship. Before we go to the main topics, I will tell about photosynthesis, the general type of consumers and the producers and kind of that. First, so every living organism needs a constant supply of energy, and all food chains, all food webs, all feeding relationships start with energy from the sun. First is photosynthesis. The sun's light transfer their energy to the plants to do a photosynthesis process. The photosynthesis is used to create energy to the plant of the plant. An energy-rich molecule, usually sugar, serves as food. They're made of oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon atoms. Energy is stored in the chemical bonds of the atoms. When the bond is broken, energy is released to fuel the life processes. So this photosynthesis process, there's water and light. It's a component of photosynthesis, and then water enters the leaf. First, chloroplast is trapped like energy. The sun transfers their energy to the leaf, and there's a carbon dioxide enter the leaf through stomata. So this is stomata of the leaf, and then sugar leaves, and the product is food. So the food is transferred to the rest of the plant. And then as producers. A producer is an organism that uses an outside energy source like the sun to make energy-rich molecule. So the plant's called producer because it produces their own food. It's not like animals. And most of producers contain chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a chemical that is required for photosynthesis process. So the chlorophyll is the main most needed substances to do photosynthesis. The next is consumer. The consumer is an organism that can make their own food. Consumers obtain energy by eating other organisms. So this is the example of consumer. There's a wolf and Cape buffalo. They can make their own food, so they call consumers. And then there are four general types of consumer. They're herbivore, carnivore, omnivores, and decomposer. The first is herbivore. Herbivore is a plant eater, animal that eat plants. Their example rabbit, deer, grasshoppers, and then this zebra and cows. They eat grass, so they call herbivores. Next is carnivore. Carnivores is meat eaters, so they like eat other animals. but not like cannibal, not cannibal. The example: a frog, spiders, cougars. This example: lion eats other animals. This is a buffalo. And for your attention, not all carnivores have a razor teeth. Example is frog. So frog doesn't have razor sharp teeth. And then omnivores. Omnivores eat both. So the animal that eat plants and animals. Example are bears, pigs, humans. This is another example. There are raccoon and pandas. So the next, decomposer. Decomposer consume waste and dead organics. So decomposer is help recycle one living matter by breaking it down into simple energy-rich substances. The substances may serve as food for decomposers, be absorbed by plant roots, or be consumed by other organisms. The example of the decomposer is fungi, bacteria, eat worms and filters. So this example is a mushroom. Mushroom is kind of fungi and it breaks down that decaying matter. So why that called decomposer? And then this the main topics: a feeding relationship. A feeding relationship is a food chain shows a simple model feeding relationship in an ecosystem. As you know, the first all food chains start with sun. So the first is the sun, and then the producer, the grass, for example, and then a rabbit eat the grass, and then a rabbit is eaten by the fox. So this is a caterpillar. It's leaf. So this is the producer and this is the consumer. It's the bees and the flowers, the panda, and the bamboo. And because this animal are the first to take the food energy from the plant, so it's called the primary consumers or the first consumers because they eat the producers. And some of these primary consumers have predators. Predators is other animal that feed on them. Example is this: aphids are eaten by these ladybirds. Animals that eat primary consumers are called secondary consumers. So from the example, so far we get a straightforward food chain. This is sun, aphid, and the ladybird. So this producers and this is the first consumer. But in reality, it's more complicated than that. Example is this bird. This bird eats ladybirds and aphid. So ladybirds is a secondary consumer and aphid is a producer. This is an eagle. This bird can eat smaller birds, mice, and rabbits. It's a fox. This eats mice too and rabbits that have other predators. So what will eat the fox? What do you think the fox eats? Sometimes a food chain is not clear. It's not entirely clear who eats who. It's another example for food chains. It's a shrubs are the beginning of the food chains. They serve their energy from sunlight. Because sharks make their own food through photosynthesis, they are called producers. And the deer is the first organism of food chain to eat the shark. It is the primary consumer. And then there's a mountain lion. It's the second organism in the food chain. And this mountain lion is eat the deer, so it's called secondary consumer. This is what goes on with the help of a food web. So another example is muskrat is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper eaten by squirrel, and squirrel eaten by hawk. So this is the producer, first consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer. There's another producer, and here is cattail. Cattail is eaten by cricket, and cricket can eaten by frog or shrew. Then frog can eaten by snake, and snake can eaten by hawk. So cattle is a producer, cricket is a primary consumer, the frog is secondary consumer, snake is tertiary consumer, and the hawk is quaternary consumer. So what happens if a disease kill off many of the hawks? So what happens if this hawk is die? So there will be nothing to eat snake. So their numbers will increase. The number of snake will increase because so many hawk kill off by disease. And because increased number, that make the snake need more food. And snake food is frog, so they eat all frogs. And then there's no frog left. And if no frog left, there's nothing to eat the cricket. So the number of the cricket will increase too. And if the number of the cricket increase, they will need more food. Cricket food is a cattle is producer, so they eat the cattle, more eat cattle. So much of the cattle get eaten by the cricket. And now the cricket don't have enough food, so their number go down, and so on. So we can conclude that number of each species have an effect on the number of the other species in the web. So this is have effect on each other. And that's all. Thank you.